A crystal chandelier shimmers overhead as a live orchestra sweeps into a lively waltz. Cameras flash, waiters in crisp white jackets circle with trays of champagne. This is the annual Roswell Family Benefit, a glittering charity gala held at the Grand Roswell Estate. Tonight, everyone in high society has come to witness the power and prestige of the Roswell name. At the center of the ornate ballroom stands Victoria Roswell. 8 months pregnant, wearing a flowing silver gown. She's radiant, though her expression betrays discomfort. Her husband, Dominic Roswell, is the evening's star, a billionaire real estate mogul, tall and striking in a tailored black tux. Yet Dominic isn't by Victoria's side. He's across the room, grinning and raising a champagne flute. Next to Dahlia King, his new executive assistant, slender poise, exuding confidence in a slinky red dress. Victoria catches glimpses of them through clusters of elegantly dressed guests. Whispered comments float around her. I heard Dahlia's the real power behind his latest ventures. Poor Victoria. She looks like she's about to burst. Can you imagine ignoring your pregnant wife on a night like this? A swirl of shame and anger rushes through Victoria. She stands straighter, scanning for an exit, but tonight's event is about her unborn child's philanthropic fund. Her father-in-law, Charles Roswell, insisted on dedicating a portion of the gala's proceeds to a children's literacy program that Victoria helped launch. She can't leave. She's trapped in a shimmering fishbowl of gossip. Suddenly, the band's music stops on a dramatic note. Charles steps onto a small stage and takes the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roswell Family Benefit. We gather here tonight to celebrate success and the upcoming birth of my grandson. Applause ripples through the room. Victoria forces a polite smile, half expecting Dominic to appear at her side, but he doesn't. Charles beckons Victoria. My dear, please come up. Eyes follow her as she carefully walks forward, pressing a hand to her belly. She glances over her shoulder, spotting Dominic and Dahlia. They're still locked in conversation, heads bent close, heart pounding. Victoria steps onto the stage alone. Cameras flash again. Charles gestures for Dominic to join them, but Dominic waves a dismissive hand as if he's too occupied. Laughter erupts somewhere in the crowd. A hush of embarrassment spreads across the hall. Charles tries to recover with a quick joke, but tension clings to the air. Victoria's cheeks burn. She can feel her baby shifting inside her, as if sensing her distress. She steels herself, drawing in a shallow breath. Then Dahlia, uninvited, slips onto the stage with Dominic. The two of them stand next to Charles while Victoria is edged aside. All eyes zoom in on the awkward tableau. The pregnant wife overshadowed by a glamorous assistant at her own child's celebration. No context is given. No explanation is offered, just raw humiliation under the blazing lights. Dominic finally takes the mic. Thank you all for coming. Dahlia, I owe so much of this year's success to you. Applause and, of course, Victoria. Polite, tepid clapping. Victoria tries not to cry. If this is just the opening, what horrors are waiting next? After the gala's initial shock, the night grinds on in tense fragments. Victoria finds herself circling the periphery, watching Dominic chat with wealthy investors, staff, and always Dahlia. The estate's vast ballroom is filled with foreign dignitaries, celebrities, and top-tier business people. Yet Victoria feels invisible. She's been battling a dull ache in her lower back all evening, a reminder that she's near term. Her obstetrician warned her to avoid stress. But how can she when every glance at Dominic and Dahlia sends a stab of pain through her heart? A longtime friend, Sabrina Quinn, quietly intercepts Victoria near a marble pillar. You look pale. Do you need to sit? Sabrina gently guides her to a velvet chaise lounge set against the wall. Victoria tries to steady her voice. I'm fine, just overwhelmed. Sabrina follows her gaze to Dominic. I thought maybe tonight he'd finally step up and support you publicly. All the tabloids have been speculating about Dahlia's role, but I hoped. She trails off, not wanting to pour salt into the wound. Dominic is an only child groomed from a young age to inherit the Roswell empire. He's extremely bright, charismatic, a man who saw business as a game to be conquered. Victoria once admired that drive. Now she fears it has consumed whatever goodness existed in him. Softly, Sabrina squeezes her hand. People talk. They say Dahlia's more than an assistant. Victoria's composure cracks. I know, but I can't. I can't prove anything. She clenches her fist, and with the baby coming, I feel stuck. My father-in-law has so many lawyers on retainer. If I accuse Dominic publicly without evidence, she doesn't finish. The implication is clear. Going up against the Roswell's legal machine would be like stepping into quicksand. At that moment, Charles Roswell approaches. Stoic but concerned, Victoria, Dear, I noticed you looked unwell on stage. Let me escort you to the smaller parlor for a breath of quiet. We can talk. Leaving the cacophony of music and laughter behind, Victoria follows Charles into a lavish side room, decorated with antique paintings. He closes the door, turning to face her. I owe you an apology for Dominic's behavior tonight. This was supposed to be a celebration of the new heir. The words land hollow, though there's a tinge of sincerity in his eyes. I've spoken to him about Dahlia, he claims. Their relationship is professional, but he's gotten carried away. Victoria's pulse thuds. You mean you know about the rumors? Charles nods, posture rigid. My resources confirm that Dahlia's been overstepping boundaries, but Dominic assures me it's purely for business expansion. He exhales. Look, I understand your frustration, but for the sake of the company's image, we must handle this discreetly. Please trust me, I'll speak with him. It's a quiet command to endure. Stay silent, don't cause a scandal. Charles briefly places a paternal hand on her shoulder. We're close to securing a multi-million-dollar partnership. If Dahlia is facilitating that, we can't provoke her just yet. It's complicated. In that instant, Victoria sees how the Roswell Empire has always operated success at all costs. She wonders if there's any genuine empathy left in this family. She musters a nod. Her baby kicks, reminding her she's not alone. She has a life to protect. Yet she's isolated, overshadowed, and carrying the weight of scandal alone. Later that night, once the gala winds down, Victoria escapes to an upstairs balcony overlooking the estate's sprawling gardens. The crisp night air soothes her flushed cheeks. She tries to gather her thoughts. Is she truly prepared to confront Dominic about Dahlia? And if so, how? From below, she notices a shadow crossing the lawn. Andrew Hampton, the Roswell's longtime chauffeur and grounds manager, stands near the parking circle, discreetly observing. Andrew has known Dominic since childhood. He's always been a quiet presence, a loyal employee who rarely speaks unless spoken to. Yet tonight, Victoria senses Andrew's gaze flick upward in her direction. Their eyes meet. For a moment, it feels like an unspoken message passes between them. I see what's happening. I know it's wrong. This fleeting connection offers a small comfort. Though Andrew isn't a friend in the usual sense, he might be a silent witness to her struggles. She feels less alone. Her phone buzzes. A text from Sabrina. You left abruptly. Everything okay? Victoria types back. Not really, I'll call you tomorrow. Thank you for caring. She sets the phone aside and leans against the marble railing. A cluster of paparazzi hovers at the estate gates, waiting to snap any scandalous shot of the Roswells. Victoria imagines how easily Dahlia could step in front of a camera hand on Dominic's arm, fueling rumors that no lawyer can hush. Footsteps approach Dominic. He slides the balcony door open, annoyance etched on his face. You disappeared. We still had guests, Victoria steels herself. I needed fresh air. He exhales sharply, glancing away. Listen, about earlier. You know how crucial these deals are for our future, right? I'm aware. Her voice trembles with suppressed anger. But do you realize how humiliating it was for me standing on that stage alone? Dominic rubs his forehead. I told you I was busy. Dahlia is an essential part of closing these partnerships. Don't read too much into it. A hot tear slips down Victoria's cheek before she can stop it. She doesn't want to be the crying, helpless wife. But heartbreak mingled with pregnancy. Hormones is too strong a tide. Is that all she is? An assistant. His silence lingers half a second too long. Then he sets his jaw. Yes, that's all. He moves closer, placing a firm hand on her arm. Stop letting your emotions sabotage us. My father said he spoke to you. You need to trust the process. Once everything is finalized, Dahlia's role will shift and we can... Victoria jerks her arm free. And we can... What? Go back to normal. Dominic, there's a baby involved now. Our child, does that not matter to you? He flinches. For an instant, guilt flashes in his eyes, but it's snuffed out by frustration. You're overreacting. Let's go inside. He turns on his heel, leaving her there. The door slides shut, nearly catching the hem of her gown. Victoria's hands clench around the balcony railing. The injustice is suffocating. She feels dominated not only by Dominic, but by an entire system that values deals over decency. Andrew is still down on the lawn, gazing up. He nods once as if acknowledging the tension. A single thought anchors itself in Victoria's mind. She won't be powerless forever. A week passes, Victoria unable to find peace. At the estate escapes to her modest childhood home in a quieter part of the city. The cozy two-story house where she grew up sits on a tree-lined street. Her mother passed years ago, so it's empty now, but she has a key and keeps it well maintained. Inside dust motes float in beams of sunlight. The living room still features her mother's antique rocking chair, the seat in which Victoria once read children's stories every evening. She trails her fingertips over the chair's worn armrest. Memories flood in before she married Dominic Ropewell. Victoria was a school teacher passionate about early childhood education. She believed in hands-on learning and community outreach, even founding a small literacy nonprofit. That idealism caught Dominic's attention during a philanthropy event. He seemed captivated by her sincerity, so different from the usual socialites he dated. They married 2 years ago, despite whispers that Dominic's wealthy father disapproved. Charles saw Victoria as sweet but naive, lacking the social pedigree the Roswells preferred. Yet Dominic insisted, and soon they were traveling the world, making philanthropic appearances together. In the beginning, Dominic was charming, philanthropic, even gentle. He donated to schools, joined her volunteer drives, and claimed to share her vision for a better world. Slowly, though, he stepped away, focusing on bigger ventures, mega real estate deals, stock acquisitions. The partnership they once shared fractured under corporate ambition. Victoria sinks onto the old couch, remembering how she felt drawn to Dominic's confidence. She believed they could merge her love for education with his empire's resources, maybe even open a global chain of literacy centers, but ambition swallowed him. Now she's left with a husband who can barely look at her. Her phone rings, she almost ignores it, but the caller ID says Sabrina, sighing. She answers, "Vic, how are you? Holding up." Sabrina's voice is soft with concern. "I'm coping. I'm at my mother's place. Dominic doesn't even know I'm here. Have you made any decisions?" Victoria hesitates. "Not yet. I keep thinking about the baby. I want him or her to have a father." She closes her eyes. But Dahlia's presence, it's more than a rumor, isn't it? Sabrina's silence speaks volumes. "Look, I have a friend who works in the same corporate building. She's seen them leave late together. You deserve better." Victoria stares at the dust swirling in the sunbeam. She deserves better. Her child deserves better, so why is she so frozen? Fear of losing everything. Fear of facing the wrath of Charles's lawyers. Fear of being overshadowed by the mighty Roswell name. But a flicker of her old passion reignites. She's not just a meek wife. She's the woman who once rallied entire neighborhoods to donate books for underprivileged kids. She overcame naysayers. She can't let her child be born into a loveless environment. She sets her jaw, breath trembling. Perhaps it's time to find proof, take a stand. Her heart thuds at the thought, but a faint spark of resolve brightens the gloom. While Victoria contemplates her next move, Dominic confronts his own flashbacks in the Roswell penthouse. It's a sleek, modern space filled with abstract art and floor-to-ceiling windows, offering panoramic city views. But Dominic scarcely notices the skyline as he paces, phone pressed to his ear. He's on a call with his father, Charles, who's traveling in Europe. "We can't afford any delays," Charles snaps. "Our partners in Dubai are an inch away from pulling out. We need Dahlia to smooth things over." Dominic clenches his fist. "I'm aware I'm trying. But Dahlia's unpredictable." Charles exhales. "Keep her in check. Don't let personal matters complicate the business. And for heaven's sake, fix things with Victoria. We can't have a scandal overshadowing the final contract." Dominic hangs up, feeling cornered. Ever since childhood, he's been groomed to be the perfect Roswell heir. Good grades, elite. Sports, top-tier MBA, taking the reins from his father. The entire Roswell empire rests on his shoulders. Everyone expects him to multiply the fortune, to expand across continents. But deep inside, Dominic is unraveling. He's addicted to success, hungry for praise. Dahlia's ambition resonates with him. She's the one who's introduced him to edgy, high-stakes deals. She's the one who whispers in his ear about pushing limits, who fans his ego. It's exhilarating. Yet he can't deny the guilt creeping in Victoria once the bright star of his life is now an afterthought. He does feel something for her, remorse perhaps, but he can't let that hinder the momentum of these deals, especially now with fatherhood looming. He glances at a framed wedding photo on the console table. Victoria beams in her lace gown, eyes filled with hope. His younger self stands beside her, smiling genuinely, sure that their union would blend philanthropic passion with unstoppable enterprise. Now that photo feels like a relic from another life. The doorbell rings. Dahlia strides in wearing a tailored pencil skirt and stiletto heels. She sets down a stack of paperwork, launching into updates about the Dubai negotiations. Her voice is sleek, professional, peppered with insider terms that Dominic has come to rely on. Mid-conversation, she notices him eyeing the wedding photo. Her lip curls slightly, still feeling sentimental. She asks, leaning on the table. Dominic bristles. Victoria's pregnant with my child Dahlia. That matters. She arches an eyebrow. Does it? You said yourself that merging our expansions is your future. If Victoria can't handle the pace, she shrugs. He exhales, torn between the path he's chosen and the vestiges of his conscience. He thinks about his father's words. No scandals, no missteps. Dahlia steps closer, her perfume enveloping. Focus on what we can achieve. Soon enough, you'll be a global name. Roswell real estate in every major capital. Don't let anyone hold you back. Dominic's phone pings. A message from Victoria. We need to talk. He closes the notification without replying. Dahlia notices a trace of satisfaction crossing her face. In the reflection of the glass window, he almost doesn't recognize himself, but there's no turning back. Now he's in too deep, for better or for worse. Later that evening, Victoria meets Sabrina at a dimly lit cafe. It's one of those hidden gems with mismatched furniture and walls lined with vintage posters. Rain drizzles against the windows, forming rivulets of water that blur the neon city lights outside. They choose a table tucked in the back, away from prying eyes. Victoria sips herbal tea, a comfort for her pregnancy. Sabrina leans forward, eyes serious. I did more digging. Turns out, Dahlia wasn't always the upstanding assistant. She presents herself to be Victoria's pulse, quickens. What did you find? Sabrina produces a manila folder, something out of a detective show. Inside are printouts of public records and a few candid photos. Dahlia King changed her name 3 years ago. She used to be Dahlia Havers. I found a few lawsuits against her for breach of contract, hush-hush settlements. She's been attached to at least 2 other high-profile businessmen. Both faced financial trouble after she got involved. Victoria's hands tremble as she flips through the pages. The photos show Dahlia in different contexts, arm in arm, with a married venture capitalist at a private yacht party, then rumored involvement with a European CEO. In each case, there's a pattern. She charms powerful men, leverages their connections, then leaves once she's extracted enough money or prestige. A heavy weight settles in Victoria's stomach. Dominic has no idea, does he? Sabrina shakes her head. Probably not. Or maybe he's turned a blind eye because she's helping him close deals. But you asked for proof. This might be a start. If she's messing with his finances, the Roswells need to know. Victoria's mind spins. She's always believed Dominic was drifting into an affair purely out of desire or emotional neglect. But Dahlia seems far more calculating. So Dahlia is an opportunist. She whispers, God, if Dominic's letting her handle critical deals, she could ruin him. Ruin all of us. Sabrina's eyes glisten with concern. What will you do? Victoria clutches the file. A flicker of protectiveness flares for Dominic, ironically. Despite his cruelty, he's still the father of her child. I can't just watch Dahlia manipulate him into financial disaster. But I also can't ignore how he's treated me. She thinks back to the early days of their marriage, remembering a conversation where Dominic promised he'd never let business overshadow their life. That promise is in tatters now. If I expose Dahlia, I might save the Roswell empire. But if Dominic finds out I went behind his back, he might retaliate. Sabrina reaches across the table, squeezing Victoria's hand. You've been overshadowed for too long. You deserve to stand up for yourself. Outside thunder rolls in the distance. Victoria can feel her baby shift inside her. She's near a crossroads, remain the silent, dutiful wife and watch Dahlia's power grow, or risk everything by taking a stand. Steeling herself, she closes the folder. I'll do it for my child. I won't let Dahlia tear apart the family legacy that could one day belong to my baby. Yet a small, trembling voice inside asks, will Dominic even believe me if I show him these documents? Or has Dahlia already pulled him too far under? Victoria returns to the Roswell estate the next morning, bracing herself for whatever confrontation waits. She clutches the folder under one arm. Entering the grand foyer, she's greeted by a hush. The staff glances nervously her way. Something is off. Upstairs, she finds Dominic in his home office. Dahlia is perched on the edge of his mahogany desk, showing him something on a laptop screen. They both look up, startled. Dahlia's expression quickly morphs to a smug half-smile. Dominic stands. Victoria, I didn't realize you were coming back so soon. Her heart pounds. She can't decide which is more painful. Dahlia's presence in their private space or Dominic's total lack of shame. She swallows. We need to talk. Dahlia moves to slip away, but Victoria's glare stops her. Stay. This concerns you too. Dominic's eyes flick from Dahlia to Victoria, confusion evident. All right, let's hear it. Victoria holds out the manila folder. I know who you are, Dahlia King. Or should I say Dahlia Havers. She flips the folder open, revealing the lawsuits, articles, photographs. You've been playing this game for a long time. Targeting men with power, extracting money, leaving chaos behind. Dahlia's face goes stone cold. She recovers quickly, raising an eyebrow. You've been snooping. That's quite an invasion of privacy. Dominic steps forward, scanning the documents with a deepening frown. What is all this? Victoria squares her shoulders. Evidence that Dahlia is using you? You think she's expanding your empire, but she's got a track record of financial sabotage. She gestures at the pages. Check the dates. 2 men ended up bankrupt shortly after Dahlia got involved. 1 faced criminal charges for fraudulent investments. She orchestrated. Silence stretches. Dahlia's cheeks flush. She tries to laugh it off. Dominic, this is nonsense. Victoria's just jealous. She's about to have a baby and feeling hormonal. That's all. Victoria's voice cracks. Don't you dare dismiss me as a jealous wife. Look at the proof. Dominic snatches the documents, scanning them. His jaw tightens. Dahlia edges closer, lowering her voice. You know me, Dominic. You've seen how I work. Why would I sabotage you? This is just some old misunderstanding. He hesitates. Conflict storming in his eyes. He's climbed too high with Dahlia's help. Breaking from her now means unraveling. Deals worth millions, maybe more. But a flicker of doubt seeps in. Victoria presses on. She's poison. If you keep letting her run the show, you'll lose everything, Dahlia snaps. Your wife is the one trying to ruin you. Look at her. She wants you to fail so she can blame me. Dominic slams the folder shut, tension radiating. Both of you stop. His gaze lands on Victoria, softer now. Let me think. I need time to verify this, but time is a luxury. In that moment, Victoria's phone buzzes in her pocket. She glances at it and pales. The Roswell PR team just sent a frantic message. A major investor pulled, claiming insider concerns about financial irregularities. The collapse has already begun. 2 nights later, Victoria paces her bedroom. She's exhausted, physically drained by the late stage of a pregnancy and emotionally shattered by Dominic's silence. Since their confrontation, he's avoided her. Dahlia still roams the estate like she owns it, meeting with lawyers and financial advisors behind closed doors. A swirl of fear grips Victoria. If the Roswell finances crumble, will Dominic lash out at her for causing trouble? She rests a hand on her belly, whispering calming words to the baby. She can't stand the stress any longer. In the hallway, she hears raised voices. She steps out to see Dominic speaking harshly to Andrew, the chauffeur groundskeeper. I told you to have the car ready at 8 sharp. Don't question my instructions. Andrew simply lowers his gaze. Yes, sir. As Dominic stomps off, Andrew notices Victoria. Their eyes meet, and for an instant, she sees compassion in his expression. That evening, she tries to rest, but her thoughts churn too fiercely. Around midnight, she's jolted awake by a sharp pain in her lower abdomen. Panic wells up. Is she going into labor early? She rushes to the bathroom, gripping the countertop. The pain subsides slightly, but tears spring to her eyes. She's terrified she'll lose the baby under all this pressure. Desperate for help, she calls Sabrina. I'm scared. Victoria confesses, voice trembling. I think the stress might be triggering something. Sabrina's voice is alarmed. Vic, you need to get out of that house. Come stay with me, or at least see your doctor first thing in the morning. Victoria promises she will. She ends the call, stepping back toward the bed. Just then, she hears footsteps in the corridor. Dahlia's voice hushed but agitated. Dominic, you have to act now. If more investors bail, we're done, Dominic's low reply. I'm doing everything I can. Don't push me. Victoria tenses. She can't handle another confrontation. She quietly locks the bedroom door. Heart pounding. She's trapped in her own home while Dahlia lectures her husband in the hallway. At dawn, as planned, she slips out with a small suitcase heading to her doctor's appointment. Andrew is in the foyer. When he sees her luggage, he nods without question, stepping forward to carry it. Ma'am, let me drive you. She hesitates, but relief surges. Thank you, Andrew. He escorts her to a discreet black sedan away from the usual family limo used for public appearances. As they pull away, Victoria glimpses Dominic standing at an upstairs window, arms folded. She can't read his expression. Anger, regret, or simple indifference. Her obstetrician runs tests. The baby's fine for now, but the doctor warns her about high blood pressure from stress. You must rest. Do not return to a hostile environment. The doctor insists still. Victoria feels torn. She calls Sabrina again, who urges her to come stay at her place. Finally, Victoria agrees. She can't prioritize Dominic's empire over her child's well-being. With Andrew's help, she collects a few more belongings and leaves the estate unsure if she'll ever truly come back. A week passes in relative peace at Sabrina's townhouse. It's small or modest, but offers the warmth of genuine friendship. Victoria can breathe again, free from Dahlia's smug presence. She spends her days resting, reading parenting books, and occasionally checking the news about the Roswell Empire's shaky status. During this time, she also reconnects with her old nonprofit colleagues via video calls. They encourage her to keep fighting for her personal well-being. One evening, they surprise her by announcing a small fundraiser in her name, a gesture to show support and raise awareness for her children's literacy project. This outpouring of care sparks a glimmer of hope inside Victoria. She realizes she isn't alone. The world beyond the Roswell estate still values her. Even as she feels battered by betrayal, she senses the faint glow of possibility. Then in a twist of timing, she receives a phone call from her father-in-law, Charles Roswell, who's back from Europe, Victoria. It's critical that we meet, he says, voice unusually subdued. They arrange to meet at a neutral location, a quiet upscale restaurant downtown. Reluctantly, Victoria agrees. She arrives to find Charles seated at a corner table swirling a glass of water. His suit looks impeccable, but his expression is weary. Without preamble, he says, I spoke to Dominic. He claims Dahlia is vital for the deals, but I've launched my own investigation. He folds his hands. Discovered you were right, Dahlia. King's history is troubling. Victoria's chest tightens, relief warring with a sense of triumph. So you believe me now? Charles sighs, yeah. And Dominic is in denial or too proud to admit his mistake. Our finances are precarious. We're hemorrhaging investor trust. If Dahlia's duplicity comes fully to light, we could face lawsuits or worse. She can't help a small, bitter smile. Now you need my help. After telling me to stay quiet for the sake of the company, his eyes flash with guilt. I'm asking you to speak with Dominic. He'll listen to you more than he will to me right now. Convince him to cut Dahlia loose before it's too late. Victoria's mind reels. Why would he listen to me? He's made his choice. Charles leans forward. Because you're carrying his child. He knows you have more to lose if he falls. And I believe there's still a shred of decency left in him, but that decency might vanish if Dahlia continues controlling him. She looks away, remembering how Dominic used to be, before greed, before betrayal. A pang of sadness shoots through her. I'm tired, Charles. I need to protect myself and the baby. If Dominic is too blind to see the truth that's on him, Charles rubs his temples. I understand, but consider your child's future. If Dominic goes down in scandal, the entire Roswell brand collapses. There'll be nothing left to inherit. Victoria sits in silence, torn between preserving the empire for her unborn child and walking away from the pain. For years, she's dreamed of using Roswell resources for good, but can she still salvage that dream? She finally rises. I'll think about it, but I won't beg him. Not anymore. Despite her reservations, Victoria agrees to meet Dominic one last time in hopes of severing Dahlia's influence. They set the meeting at a discreet business suite in a downtown tower, away from paparazzi and family staff. Dominic arrives looking more frayed than she's ever seen him, tie-loosened hair, slightly unkempt. Dahlia, by contrast, is immaculate in a sleek black suit. Her eyes narrow the moment she spots Victoria. Victoria braces herself. This is for her child's sake, she reminds herself. She places a calm hand on her belly, drawing strength. Dominic, we have to talk about Dahlia's track record. It's not speculation, your father confirmed it. Dahlia scoffs. Charles would do anything to protect his precious family name. I suppose you would too. Dominic raises a hand, silencing them. His voice is shaky with exhaustion. I've reviewed the documents, made some calls. He looks at Dahlia. Your explanation didn't align with the evidence, Dahlia. 2 lawsuits you said were false turn out to be sealed settlements, she stiffens. Those were misunderstandings. Victoria steps closer. End this. Dominic cut ties with her. For once, put our child ahead of your ambition. He exhales. Victoria, you don't understand. This expansion is massive. If we eject Dahlia mid-deal, we risk defaulting on loans. We could be in breach of contract. The company might collapse under the weight of half-finished projects. Dahlia's gaze flicks between them, calculating. Then she speaks, voice dripping with confidence. Dominic, these are just growing pains. You know we're on the brink of a major breakthrough in Dubai. One successful signing and all those investors come flooding back. You can't afford to lose me now. Victoria can't believe what she's hearing. She steps forward, frustration boiling over. Stop lying. You're manipulating him. Once he's lost everything, you'll vanish, just like you did with your previous victims. Dahlia's eyes flash dangerously. She snaps open a black folder. Actually, I have the final draft of the Dubai contract right here. If you force me out, the entire deal goes up in smoke. She smiles coldly at Dominic. You want me gone? Fine, but your empire will crumble, which is more important, your wife's accusations or the future of Roswell real estate. A tense beat passes. Dominic stares at this contract. He glances at Victoria's anguished face, then at Dahlia's unwavering poise. Finally, he mutters, I can't let the company fail. Victoria's heart plummets. She realizes with brutal clarity that Dominic is still prioritizing business over his family. Dahlia's smirk grows. She gathers her papers, moving toward the door. I'll wait outside so you two can talk. As she passes Victoria, she leans in, whispering, You've lost. He'll never choose you. The door closes. Dominic bows his head, shoulders trembling. Vic, you have to see my side. My father built this empire. If I tear it down, I'll be destroying my family's legacy. Tears burn at Victoria's eyes. And what about the family you have with me? With our child? He can't even meet her gaze. I'm sorry. In that moment, it feels like Dahlia has won. Victoria storms out of the suite, tears threatening to blind her. She nearly collides with Andrew, who's waiting in the hallway, sent by Charles to escort her safely. Catching her breath, she thanks him in a shaky whisper. Meanwhile, Dahlia is leaning casually against the wall, phone in hand, talking in hushed tones. The moment she spots Victoria, she ends the call. Leaving so soon? Pity, unable to muster a retort. Victoria heads for the elevator. Andrew follows at a respectful distance. A swirl of shame, rage, and despair churns in her stomach. Dominic's betrayal feels final now. She gave him, the truth, a chance to redeem himself, and he sided with Dahlia anyway. Inside the elevator, Andrew breaks the silence. Ma'am, I overheard Charles speaking. He's not giving up. She glances up. Andrew's expression is uncharacteristically intense. I shouldn't pry, but I hate seeing what's happening to you. To Mr. Dominic, too. Dahlia is... He trails off as if searching for the right word. Dangerous, Victoria swallows. I tried to warn him. He chose her. Andrew's eyes flash. Not for long. Charles instructed me to gather evidence of Dahlia's wrongdoing. Real evidence, bank transfers, hidden emails. Everything. If we can prove her role is fraudulent, the contracts she claims to control become invalid. A tiny ember of hope ignites in Victoria's chest, but how she's covered her tracks so far. Andrew hesitates. Some staff are loyal to the Roswell family. We have security footage of Dahlia sneaking into Dominic's study at odd hours, rifling through documents, and there's rumor of Swiss bank accounts under aliases. If we link her to them, Victoria's heartbeat quickens. Could this be the game changer? If Dahlia is exposed on a criminal level, her contract leverage might dissolve. Dominic would be forced to cut her loose, yet she also feels the sting of heartbreak. Even if we expose her, Dominic has made it clear where his priorities lie. Andrew gently pats her shoulder. Sometimes it takes a great fall to see truth. They exit onto the ground floor, stepping into the building's lobby. Dahlia breezes past them, heading for a separate set of elevators that lead to the parking garage. She doesn't spare Victoria a glance. Andrew leans in. Give Charles a few more days. If we can orchestrate a public reveal of Dahlia's crimes, Dominic will have no choice but to remove her. Victoria folds, her arms protective of her baby. I don't want to watch him crumble. I only wanted him to realize how far he's strayed. Andrew's voice is quiet but firm. This might be the only way. Sometimes you have to let a person hit rock bottom for them to wake up. Against her better judgment, Victoria nods. She doesn't know if Dominic can be saved from his own hubris, but for her child's sake, she hopes as they step outside, a flurry of camera flashes from lurking paparazzi momentarily blinds her. She turns away her hand, instinctively going to her belly. In her mind, she sees Dahlia's triumphant face, but a new undercurrent stirs the Roswell staff. Her father-in-law and maybe even fate itself are converging to unmask this interloper. 3 days later, an urgent summons from Charles Roswell arrives on Victoria's phone. She's at Sabrina's townhouse, sipping peppermint tea, trying to calm her nerves. We have Dahlia cornered, Charles says. Meet me at the estate tonight. Bring your friend if you need support. Nerves fraying, Victoria stands. Sabrina insists on driving her. When they arrive at the Roswell estate, the atmosphere is electric. Staff members rush about whispering. The entire place feels on edge. In the grand sitting room, Charles waits with Andrew. In a stern-faced attorney, Ms. Rowland spread across the coffee table are printouts of Swiss bank transactions, email correspondences, and suspicious wire transfers to an account under DK Holdings. The sums are massive. Charles's mouth is set in a grim line. We have enough to prove Dahlia used insider information to funnel money out of the country. She planned to vanish when she sealed the Dubai deal. Victoria's hands tremble over the documents. This is bigger than she imagined. Does Dominic know? A heavy sigh? Not yet. He's out meeting with Dahlia right now. They're finalizing the contract terms. Once they sign, Dahlia can exercise her authority to shift funds. We must act before that pen hits the paper. Ms. Rowland speaks up. We've prepared an injunction. If we confront Dahlia publicly with witnesses, she'll have no ground to stand on. We can freeze her assets instantly. Victoria glances at Charles. He nods. I've called Dominic, told him we need him here immediately. He sounded agitated, but he's on his way. The tension is palpable. Sabrina gently squeezes Victoria's shoulder. This is it. The moment of truth. Minutes later, Dominic bursts through the door, Dahlia trailing behind. She looks rattled, but tries to maintain a veneer of confidence. Charles, what is this emergency about? Charles motions to the documents. This is about you. Dahlia King, or should I say Dahlia Havers? Dahlia's eyes dart, but she forces a laugh. Are we still stuck on that old nonsense? Ms. Rowland steps forward, an official air about her. We have proof you've siphoned funds to offshore accounts, forging Dominic Roswell's digital signature. She slides a paper across the table. Here are the copies. Dominic pales, scanning the evidence. Dahlia? Is this true? Dahlia's bravado cracks. She tries to speak, but falters. Then her face hardens. You want to pin this all on me? Dominic was part of these deals. He wanted to push boundaries. I simply helped. Charles's voice booms. Don't twist this. We see who set up those private accounts. We see who orchestrated the money flow. Dominic might be reckless, but you orchestrated the scheme. Dominic's voice rises. But, Dahlia, you told me it was standard procedure. You said everything was above board. She whips around, eyes blazing. And you believed me because it got you bigger. Numbers. Bigger headlines. Don't play innocent now. Victoria watches the meltdown, feeling a pang of sorrow for Dominic, who stands at the brink of ruin. Ms. Rowland calmly lays out the final blow. We have enough to freeze your accounts and issue a warrant for your arrest if you refuse to comply. Dahlia's gaze sweeps the room. She looks ready to bolt. Then from across the hallway, Andrew steps in, crossing his arms. I wouldn't run if I were you. Dahlia glares. You all think you've won. She glances at Dominic. You'll pay for betraying me, but there's nowhere to go. The final card has been played. Dahlia's expression twists from outrage to desperation. She lunges for Dominic's arm, voice trembling. Can't let them do this. If I go down, I'll drag you with me. The deals, the hush-hush expansions, you were part of, all of it. Charles steps forward, brandishing a stack of legal papers. My lawyers have combed through everything. The transactions that Dominic authorized were within standard boundaries. You were the one forging additional withdrawals, lying about costs, funneling money to your personal accounts. Dominic's face is ashen, sweat beating at his temple. He looks to Victoria, wanting some form of rescue, but she stands back, arms folded over her baby bump. Wounded but resolute. This is his reckoning. Ms. Rowland, the attorney clears her throat. We can do this the hard way or the slightly less hard way. Hand over the contract for Dubai, step down from all Roswell business dealings, and sign a confession acknowledging your role in financial fraud. If you comply, we'll recommend leniency in sentencing. Sabrina flanks. Victoria, who breathes a shaky sigh of relief. Dahlia is trapped, and Dominic has no out except severing ties to the woman who nearly destroyed him. And them all. After a tense moment, Dahlia hurls a bitter stare at Dominic. You're a coward. She whips out the contract from her briefcase, slamming it onto the table. Fine, take it, but don't you pretend you're guiltless. She scribbles her signature on Ms. Rowland's prepared documents, her pen strokes furious. Outside, they can hear the faint chatter of staff anxious about the confrontation. Andrew stands guard near the door, ensuring Dahlia can't flee Dominic. Exhales raggedly as Dahlia throws the pen aside. He reaches for her arm. Dahlia, if there's anything, she yanks away. Don't you dare pity me. You used me just as much as I used you. The difference is I'm done and with that Dahlia King once so poised and in control, storms out escorted by Miss Rowland to a waiting car that will take her to a discreet holding area until law enforcement takes over. The woman who replaced Victoria at social events leaves in disgrace. Silence blankets the room. Victoria gazes at Dominic, who slumps into a chair, head in his hands. Charles stands by the mantel, a dark silhouette of paternal disappointment. Sabrina edges closer to Victoria, lightly touching her friend's shoulder. Victoria's lips press together after everything. She doesn't feel triumphant, just tired. She wanted Dominic to see reason, but not like this. The swirl of conflicting emotions. Anger, pity, heartbreak makes her dizzy. She rubs her belly. Charles steps toward her. Are you all right? She nods weakly. I just need air. Dominic looks up, eyes full of remorse. He tries to speak her name, but she turns away. She can't face him yet. The sting of his betrayal lingers like a fresh wound. Her quiet victory is overshadowed by the memory of how little he defended her. For the first time in weeks, though, Victoria feels a sliver of closure. Dahlia is gone. The empire might be saved. And maybe, just maybe, she can find peace, even if that means leaving the Roswell name behind. In the following days, the Roswell legal team works tirelessly to stabilize the company's finances. Statements are released to assure investors that the rogue operator Dahlia has been removed. Dominic, under Charles's watchful eye, signs new documents to rectify the Dubai deal, disclaiming any shady practices. Victoria remains at Sabrina's townhouse, focusing on self-care. She's mere weeks from her due date, and her doctor has emphasized rest. The baby is healthy, though. Victoria's heart feels bruised. One afternoon, Dominic arrives unannounced. Sabrina is out grocery shopping, so Victoria answers the door alone. She stiffens. Seeing him, he looks visibly contrite, dark circles under his eyes, shoulders slumped. May I come in? He asks softly. She hesitates and steps aside. They sit in the small living room. The sun filtering through lace curtains. On the coffee table lies a baby name book. Dominic glances at it. A flicker of pain crosses his face, as if reminded how little he's been part of this pregnancy. He swallows hard. I wanted to apologize for everything. I was so blinded by ambition and, yes, by Dahlia's influence. I hurt you. Victoria folds her hands over her belly. She's dreamt of this conversation, but now it feels hollow. That's an understatement, she says quietly. He nods, voice trembling. I realize now I was about to lose everything. My family, my integrity, but mostly I was losing you and our child. Tears prick Victoria's eyes, but she keeps her composure. Where was this realization when I begged you to listen? Or when you had to choose between me and Dahlia? Dominic bows his head. I was a fool. Oh, I was worse. I took you for granted. I risked our future for a bigger piece of success I didn't even need. Silence stretches. Victoria studies him. She can see genuine remorse, but also the remnants of arrogance. She wonders if there's truly a chance he can change. Finally, she speaks. I'm glad Dahlia's gone. I'm glad the company might recover. But what about us? You shattered my trust. He leans forward, voice trembling. I want to be there for you and the baby. I know I can't erase what I did, but I'm willing to do anything. Therapy, stepping away from high-stakes expansions. Anything. Victoria's heart clenches. She feels the baby move, a gentle reminder that this decision affects more than just her. She looks at Dominic, sees a broken man who might be sincere, but she also remembers the night she cried alone, the embarrassment at the gala, the persistent overshadowing by Dahlia. Her voice is soft but firm. I don't know if I can forgive you enough to be your wife again, but for our child's sake, maybe we can build a healthier relationship one day at a time. He nods, tears sliding down his cheeks. That's more than I deserve. I'll do whatever it takes. She exhales, a weight lifting. In that moment, she chooses peace over revenge. Not because Dominic deserves it, but because she deserves to move forward. 2 weeks later, Victoria goes into labor. At dawn, Sabrina rushes her to the hospital. Dominic arrives soon after, anxious and pacing in the waiting room. Despite their fragile reconciliation, Victoria allows him to be present for the birth. She endures hours of contractions surrounded by supportive nurses, and her dear friend Dominic stands by holding her hand, whispering apologies and encouragement in equal measure. At last, a healthy baby girl, Adeline Roswell, is born. When the doctor places the tiny infant in Victoria's arms, tears stream down her face, all the heartbreak, the betrayal. The corporate battles seem distant as she cradles the child's delicate warmth. Dominic gently touches the baby's hand, tears glimmering in his eyes. They name her Adeline Grace Roswell, a middle name chosen by Victoria to symbolize a hope for mercy and a better future. Soon after family members arrive, Charles, subdued yet proud, welcomes his granddaughter. Staff from the Roswell estate sends flowers. Even Andrew drops by with a small plush toy, a shy smile on his face. Over the next few days, Victoria rests in the hospital, letting her body recover. Dominic hovers near, attending to her needs, but respectfully keeping a gentle distance whenever she seems overwhelmed. He's trying tentatively, haltingly, to step into the role of a caring partner and father. She appreciates the effort, but still guards her heart. On the day of discharge, Victoria carefully straps Adeline into a car seat while Sabrina helps gather balloons and gifts. Dominic stands by, looking uncertain. Finally, he musters the courage to ask, "Would you like to stay at the estate so the baby has everything she needs?" Victoria pauses, glancing at her sleeping infant. Her memories flash. Dahlia prancing around those halls, humiliations endured under that chandelier. But then she sees the practicality of Adeline having her own nursery, the staff to help, and the simpler logistics of childcare. She meets Dominic's gaze. "We'll come for short visits. But for now, I'm staying at Sabrina's. I'm not ready to move back." Well, Dominic nods, accepting her decision without argument. That alone is progress. They exit the hospital side by side, paparazzi snapping photos from a distance. Headlines the next day read, "Billionaire heir's wife gives birth amid Roswell restructuring and newborn girl brings hope to scandal-ridden empire." Victoria tries to ignore the tabloid frenzy, focusing on Adeline's every coo and breath. One afternoon, as Victoria gently rocks Adeline to sleep at Sabrina's townhouse, her phone buzzes with an unknown number. She answers quietly, expecting more press or a distant relative. Instead, a raspy female voice says, "Congratulations on the baby, Mrs. Roswell." Victoria's blood runs cold. She steps into another room to avoid waking Adeline. "Who is this?" A soft laugh. "Did you think I'd vanish so easily?" Dahlia never loses for long. "Enjoy your peace while you can. You took everything from me, but I always find a way back." The line goes dead. Victoria stares at the phone, heart pounding. She glances at Adeline's sleeping face. For her daughter's sake, she won't be intimidated. Yet a chill warns her that Dahlia's downfall might only be the beginning of a darker, more personal vendetta.